If you've ever been pricked by a porcupine's quill, then you know they're sharp. But why are they sharp? You would think that a quill is just a fancy hair that has evolved into a defensive weapon over millions of years. But when scientists actually looked at the structure of a porcupine's quill, they found something weird. They found that the center of the quill is hollow. And this made no sense. If a quill is a modified hair, then it should have the same structure as a regular hair, which is solid throughout. But a hollow quill isn't just bizarre, it also seems downright dangerous. The hollow tube is basically a sharpened glass shard. So how can anything be both hollow and sharp? Well, to answer this question, scientists went back to the drawing board and decided to study how these mysterious quills grow. What they found was even stranger than they imagined. Because it turns out that quills don't grow like hair at all. Instead, they form from two separate structures, a keratinized tube and a medullary canal. Kind of like a mini tree with a trunk and branches. The medullary canal is what gives the quill its hollow center. And the keratinized tube forms the outer layer of the quill, kind of like the bark on a tree. But while wood can be strong and rigid, it can also be surprisingly flexible. In fact, bamboo is one of the strongest building materials out there, yet a porcupine's quill is anything but flexible. So how do they go from soft, squishy tubes to rigid, sharp quills? Well, as the answer to that question might just explain why they're so darn prickly. As the quill grows, cells divide near the tip of the quill, and as they do, they start to build up keratin. This builds the wall of the quill and starts to harden it. But it also triggers the cells in the medullary canal to multiply and move outwards. And as they spread out, they form tiny pockets of air between the cells. These pockets make the pith extremely light, but they also push against the inside of the keratinized tube. All this pressure eventually causes the quill to bend outwards, forming a sharp point. It's kind of like blowing air into a balloon. At first, it's soft and squishy, but eventually, the pressure makes it rigid and pointy. Except, unlike a balloon, once a quill is formed, it never loses its sharpness. And to make matters worse, when a porcupine shakes itself, its quills interlock together, forming a tight ball of pain. That means if you get too close to a porcupine, you don't have to touch it for it to hurt you. One shake and you're done. But why do porcupines need such dangerous defenses? Well, it turns out their spiky armor protects them from more than just one specific predator. You see, porcupines live all over the world in a wide variety of habitats, from forests to deserts to grasslands, and they come in all shapes and sizes, from the tiny pygmy porcupine, which is only about the size of a guinea pig, to the gigantic North African porcupine, which can weigh up to 150 pounds. Despite their differences, all porcupines share one thing in common, a coat of sharp, prickly quills, and they use these quills for more than just defense. Yes, quills help protect porcupines from predators like foxes, coyotes, and even bears, but they also help porcupines keep cool in the sun, keep their skin disease-free, and even attract a mate. All those sharp edges create lots of nooks and crannies for bacteria to hide in, making it easier for them to infect the skin. But porcupines don't seem to mind. They spend a lot of time sunning themselves, which kills most of the bacteria on their skin. It also helps that their hollow quills reflect some of the sun's rays, helping them stay cool. And oddly enough, it seems that some people like to stroke the quills of a porcupine during mating season. Maybe because they're a little bit So next time you see a porcupine, remember that its quills aren't just sharp, they're also hollow. Lightweight and multi-purpose tools that help the porcupine survive in a wide variety of environments. Not to mention, they're one of the weirdest and wackiest examples of natural selection in action. Speaking of natural selection, if you want to learn more about the amazing process that drives evolution, you can check out the additional resources. Thanks for watching!